Internet! Hello and welcome to this week's Koi Cubed. I hope you are doing very, very well. It is a bit toasty on my side of the world, but we are soldiering on. This is a very special post-4th of July episode. I'm wearing my finest Nick Offerman. I hope you guys are all doing well. We had a stream last week that overheated both my computer and my phone, which is what I use to stream with. So I'm going to keep this episode a little shorter while it's this hot. I did just set up my ACs. Hopefully by next week I'll have a system where the sound works and I can see you guys. But all of that to say, this week we're going to be talking about Zack Snyder's Rebel Planet. We're going to be talking about Tom Hardy getting a writing credit. We're going to be talking about some Black Widow hype. We've got a lot of stuff to dive into, but we're going to try to keep it to about a 30-minute show. So I hope you guys are all doing well. I see the great Edward Haskell, the great Michael McCarsell, and the great Curtis Mason in here. A lot of the OG Koi Pond. It is so good to see you all, and I very, very, very much appreciate you. Let's get into the news. You're right, dude. Michael, it does not play with that heat. Me and Spidey have just been melting. I went out of town for the weekend and went to Yosemite, and somebody took care of Spidey, and both of us just melting. And Tanner Hahn. Good crew today. Good crew. All right, let's get into some news. Rebel Moon is officially making moves. Rebel Moon was announced last year, and it was announced a few years ago as a Zack Snyder Star Wars project, and then last year it was announced that it was going to be retooled as a completely original sci-fi endeavor, and it was to be based on a Kurosawa flavor, a Kurosawa-inspired film, which, you know, Star Wars itself is based on samurais and that whole archetype and worldview. So I personally was casually excited for Zack Snyder to do a Star Wars film. The idea of Zack Snyder doing a Kurosawa-inspired original, his own IP sci-fi film is much more exciting to me. I like when Zack Snyder gets to play with his own toys. I didn't enjoy Army of the Dead as much as I wanted to, but I was happy to see him make his own world. Like, I'd much rather see him get the creative freedom to make what he wants. So, you know, there's a very contained and constrained world you can play with in Star Wars. When he's doing his own thing, he can make a brand new sci-fi epic. And from the sounds of things, this is the beginning of a franchise. So they released the log line, and it is as follows. The story is set in motion when a peaceful colony on the edge of the galaxy is threatened by the armies of a tyrannical regent named Balsarius. Desperate people dispatch a young woman with a mysterious past to seek out warriors from neighboring planets to help them make a stand. So, has that sci-fi space opera flavor, has lots and lots of different elements of, what would have been Star Wars necessarily, but also the classic sci-fis from the 70s, but through the lens of Zack Snyder. So it's going to be visually stunning. It's going to be very awesome, for lack of a better word, the intensity of Zack Snyder, but he gets to play with his own thing, and they're saying Netflix wants to make a franchise out of it. Now, after the success of basically his running hashtags, the dude, runs social media in so many ways. With the success of Army of the Dead through viral marketing, with the success of the Justice League Snyder Cut even existing, I'm very curious what a sci-fi franchise on Netflix, exclusive to Netflix, would look like. Netflix is one of the newer studios that does a good job getting some theatrical runs on their films. They do own The Egyptian out here in LA. They also do push for Oscar consideration. I'm hoping Netflix is one of the people that really spearhead movie theaters coming back in a real way. I have a lot of hope anyway for that. Spidey Cat says, hello everyone. He also is overheating, but he wants snuggles. It's a very indecisive flavor we're both dealing with. Hello, good sir. And of course, Rebel Moon sounding very much Star Wars inspired. I'm curious about this project. I'm really excited about it. Again, I'm much more in let Zack Snyder make his own stuff than play with other people's toys. There's less kickback. There's more creative freedom. There's more interest, I think, from both parties. And if you've got the fan base, why not, you know? So I'm very excited for it. Rebel Moon has me intrigued, and I hope Netflix really expands into theatrical runs even deeper. This show is usually hyper positive. This show is usually about, comic books, movies, pop culture, as well as Schmodown, Curls, etc. But there would not be modern movies without talking about the late, great Richard Donner. We lost Richard Donner just a couple days ago. Richard Donner is the reason for a lot of the ways blockbusters are portrayed, and certainly the reason we have superhero films. So, you guys know my love of Lethal Weapon. You guys know my love of, you know, Goonies and Dick Donner's whole ability to capture that childlike wonder. And then next to the Marvel films, Lethal Weapon, it's like, it's Marvel, Fast and the Furious, and Lethal Weapon are tied for second. And the fact that one man was responsible for the top two says a lot. Because without Superman, we wouldn't have the Marvel franchise. Without Lethal Weapon, we wouldn't have modern action films. So the man did so much for cinema. I am a giant fan of his work. I mean, anytime there was a crumb of news about Lethal Weapon 5, I would push it so hard. I had hoped we'd get to see it before we lost him. The man was making films and working into his 90s. He had an incredible life. I hope he rests easy, and I just want to share some love for the great Richard Donner. Everyone in the chat, I see the conversations going to him being a legend and icon. You're goddamn right, I agree. So much love to Dick Donner, so much love to his family, so much love to Lauren, who I can't imagine losing someone you've been with that long, who you worked with and lived with and loved and shared a life with. Lauren Shuler Donner, in addition to, you know, Dick Donner, Superman, Lauren Shuler Donner's X-Men, like the Donners are the reason for what a lot of modern cinema is. So a lot of love to that family, and I'm just glad he gave us so much. So, you know, we had him for a lot of years, and he put a lot of years of his life on the silver screen. He put so much of his time and so much of his heart into making those movies everything they could be, and we wouldn't have cinema without him. So, rest in peace to the great Dick Donner. Thank you for everything you did for all of us, for everything you made, for everything you shared, for that exposed heart, for your beautiful vision. Thank you, Dick Donner. We'll miss you. Good fucking work. What a life. Speaking of inspiring the era of cinema we live in today, Kevin Feige, there's tons of quotes online. I thought about doing a memoriam and gathering a lot of quotes, but it seems silly to read other people's words when, if you're curious, please do look into what a lot of people had to say about Richard Donner. He's a titan of this industry, but I did grab Kevin Feige's quote because that felt the most apropos to sum up a lot of thoughts, and also the most in line with what the show's usually about. Kevin Feige had to say, quote, "Richard Donner not only made me believe a man could fly, he made me believe that comic characters could be brought to life on the big screen with heart, humor, humanity, and verisimilitude." There it is, verisimilitude. I love that word, can never say it. With heart, humor, humanity, and verisimilitude. Above all, he taught me that it can and must be done with respect, caring, and kindness to everyone in front of and behind the camera. Dick and Lauren became mentors during my early career and key supporters throughout the birth of the MCU. I owe my career to the way they took the time to nurture and teach a kid from New Jersey who didn't know how to use a fax machine or make a coffee very well. I always thought Dick was immortal. I still do. My thoughts are with Lauren and the entire family. I mean, wise words from a very wise man. Kevin Feige was a literal assistant on movies that Lauren produced and worked right alongside Dick Donner. We would not have the MCU without them. So just wanted you guys to hear that quote from the great Kevin Feige, and once again, rest in peace to the immortal Richard Donner. In the world of, I'm so glad that happened, but it surprised me, Tarantino, it seems, has bought the Vista. The Vista is one of my favorite theaters in Los Angeles. You guys know how much I love the movie theater. You guys know how much I love the experience of cinema, whether it's indie or blockbuster. I like sharing the cinema, but there's something so special about a classic theater, a one-house cinema that everyone gathers and waits in line in front of. There's one concession stand. It feels like the movies. It's so classic, and there's less and less of those left. The Vista, the Los Feliz 3 is 3 screens, but it's got that one cinema feeling. The Arrow, the Egyptian, there are a few left in LA, and LA's probably got the most of many cities. Maybe LA and New York have the most, but it's not common anymore, and the Vista I was very worried about. The Vista is very close to home, both metaphorically and literally, and I've seen so many of my favorite movies there. I've had so many great memories there, and I was very worried about it because it's an indie theater. It would seem Tarantino, in addition to owning the New Beverly, now owns the Vista as well. This was just announced. I don't know if that means he's going to be doing programming for that. I don't know if that means we're going to keep getting new movies at the Vista as we had. The Vista had been a big spot for the newest releases, and it was able to share with the Los Feliz 3 and have big movie releases. I hope that's still the case. There were premieres there. I did a table read there I did, so I work for Hit Record sometimes. Hit Record is Joseph Gordon-Levitt's production company, and I did a reading there as directed by Rian Johnson once. So that's actually where I met Ryan. So one of my favorite directors also, speaking of favorite directors, it's where I met Ryan and where I did a reading with Joe. A lot of love for the Vista, a lot of good memories, and it is surviving. So thank you to Tarantino. I hope it gets to have its own programming. I love what the new Bev is doing, but we already have a new Bev, so I hope we get to keep having the strange blend of new and old at the Vista. Time will tell, but it survives, and that's what matters. So thank you, Tarantino. The Vista lives on. We also, speaking of living on, Greenland, one of the bigger surprises for me in the last year, movie-wise, Gerard Butler's Greenland could have easily been a straight to the Walmart $5 Ben movie. It does not have that extraordinary of a concept, but it was executed so well, it elevated well beyond the material. It's an apocalypse movie. It's a very 90s apocalypse movie. It's been done many times, but again, it was done so very well, and Gerard Butler's really good in it that it's getting a sequel, and it was just bought by STX for $75 million. There is a $75 million acquisition in 2021. That is very uncommon, not a thing that happens very often. So if you haven't seen Greenland yet, I do recommend it. It surprised the hell out of me. I didn't think I'd enjoy it nearly as much as I did. I saw a screening of it and was like, wait, is this about to surprise people? It's funny, when you see screenings, you're so isolated from the buzz that you don't know if you're crazy for enjoying something. And you're like, am I the only one that loved this? And then it came out and everybody loved it, and I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. So Greenland was one of those ones I saw early and was like, I think I'm really happy with this, but I didn't know if I was just happy to be watching a big blockbuster I hadn't seen yet, because it was in like the drought of movies. But it turns out it was excellent to everyone, and it's getting a sequel to the tune of $75 million acquisition by STX. So that's very exciting. Happy for Gerard Butler, happy for the Greenland team. Before I move on to the next story, I want to jump in the chat and make sure I haven't missed anybody. I saw Sahil pop up. Hello, Sahil. I hope you're doing very well. It is very hot here in Los Angeles. I hope everyone has AC. We got Lavelle M saying he had a vision that I will have 4 kids. You know, I want kids. I don't know if I'm ready for 4, but I do want a bunch of kids, so I appreciate Lavelle. I hope they're raised well, and I hope they're happy. E. Walter, we haven't seen E. Walter in a little bit. Superman the movie is still my favorite superhero movie of all time. It's a goddamn delight. Xeno Hour, Donner directed so many of my favorites. I agree, Xeno Hour. Michael McCarcel saying an absolute icon. We got Maddie Gunner in the chat. We got E. Walter saying it's been a month, but she is back. Yes, indeedy. And we had Tanner Hahn pop in earlier. So a lot of the OGs, a lot of the Koi Pond strong in today's overheated Tuesday afternoon chat. By the way, the last time we did a stream at Overheated, it was in fact for a watch-along, a Michael McCarcel produced watch-along. One of my patron tiers is doing a watch-along, and that is the great Michael McCarcel, patron saint of watch-alongs. We are going to be doing Fast 5 again, but I've thought of a way to escalate it, because I didn't want to just repeat it, because we did the first hour of Fast 5 already, and it'd be kind of redundant to just do the exact same thing. So we wanted to redo the Fast 5 stream, but I thought of a way to escalate it. So later in the month, we're going to be doing a Fast 5 live stream, but I'm going to bring in some special guests. It's nobody from the cast or crew. I didn't get Chris Morgan. I know him, but not well enough to call him over to my house. I do have some surprise guests. It's going to be the first multi-person live stream I've done with a watch-along, period. The very first one, Fast 5, is going to be a multi-person watch-along. It's going to be people that haven't seen the movie, people that dislike the franchise, people that love the franchise, and me are going to be playing around with the different narrative structures and tonalities. So I hope you've seen the movie before we watch it, because it's going to be pure chaos. But Michael McCarcel, we're doing Fast 5 later this month, and I've got a whole thing cooking because you were so cool about it breaking an hour in with the heat. So very, 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 very stoked. All right, next bit of news is one of the headline news. This would not be normally a big headline story, but it was kind of a small news week, and this excited me. If you haven't seen Taboo, it is a Tom Hardy starring, but also Tom Hardy and his dad written show. He now has a writing credit in film, and his first film writing credit is going to be for Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Tom Hardy is the voice of Venom. He is the Eddie Brock of Venom, and now he is a writer on Venom. He's clearly very hands-on with this film. I'm wondering if he ad-libbed as Venom so much they gave him a writing credit. I wonder if he was involved in the story from the jump. I wonder if he worked so hands-on with Andy Serkis, it became a thing where they wanted to give that more. Very excited to see what Tom Hardy does to bring to that property, because basically, Tom Hardy, like, Taboo is fascinating. Him and his dad writing a very interesting oil painting of a show together. That show is so dark and rich with texture. I'm excited to see what his writing is on a crazy, high-energy superhero film. So, Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, Tom Hardy with a writing credit. And if you haven't seen Taboo, do so as soon as you can. Tom Hardy, the man, fascinating. Tom Hardy, the actor, very, very interesting in his choices, his delivery, and everything else. I'm excited to see more of Tom Hardy, the writer. I'm excited to see more of Tom Hardy expanding into other platforms, other places. His career, if you look at like the writing, if you look at the acting of Tom Hardy, there's so much in there that is just bold choices. I'm really excited for Venom 2. Now that we've got Woody Harrelson out of that wig, now that we've got Andy Serkis directing, now that we've got Tom Hardy on as writer and actor, I'm so hype for Venom 2. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below of Tom Hardy getting a writing credit. I always forget to say, like, leave a comment and all that jazz, because I'm so used to doing this in a different setting. But do let me know what you guys think, because I'm very excited for Tom Hardy, the writer, as well as any of the other news we talked about. Let me know what you think of Rebel Planet. Let me know what you think of Zack Snyder having this basic first look deal with Netflix and all these things going forward. Tarantino with the Vista. All sorts of stuff today. I'm curious of your thoughts. Perhaps the most important story, not just of the day, not just of the week, but of the year. Paddington 3 starts filming next summer. Paddington 3 is going to change cinema just like Paddington 1 and 2. Paddington 2 is still the greatest film of all time of our collective hearts. I don't care about that one negative review on Rotten Tomatoes. It is still better than Citizen Kane. That person is wrong, and they should be taught a lesson. Paddington 3, strap in, starts filming next summer. Overjoyed. I love the Paddington movies. If you haven't seen the Paddington movies, please, please, please do yourself a favor and warm your heart with the power of love, marmalade, and bears. The Paddington movies are exceptional. And now we got number 3 coming at you next summer filming, which means we'll probably get it released in 2023. No, there's no way. Maybe. A lot of CGI, though. Maybe 2023, like Christmas. It's a Christmas movie. It is literally the anti-cynicism. It is so warm, fuzzy, and delightful. It makes you a better person, frankly. A lot of my positivity comes from my love of Paddington. Watch Paddington 1 and 2, and then strap in for Paddington 3. All systems go, and the chat is moving, which makes me excited that other people are excited for me about Paddington 3. I almost made it the headline story, but then I felt silly because it's just an announcement of it existing, like the filming, but I'm glad you guys are with me. This is why the koi pond is strong. This is why the koi pond's important. You guys get me. Paddington 3, changing cinema, coming at you. All right, we got some more blockbustery news coming at you from the official Instagram of Jamie Alexander. It would seem that Lady Sif is here to stay for quite some time. There was a fairly well-substantiated rumor / press release that I didn't trust the source of, but it seemed to be moving, that she was going to be in Thor: Love and Thunder, and it seems she is also going to be going forward in the MCU, maybe even after that. She said Lady Sif is here to stay, and I was very, very excited for spoilers. You guys can guess those spoilers, but it would seem that there is a plan afoot for more Lady Sif in general. I think Jamie Alexander is one of these strong points of the Thor franchise that hasn't been used that well. She was great in Thor: Dark World, which not a lot of people have rewatched, but she's great in it. She is a fantastic Wonder Woman-esque character in both the comics and the films that I love dearly. Like, the strength of Jamie Alexander is incredible for Lady Sif. I want more, so I'm excited as hell to get more Lady Sif in Thor: Love and Thunder and onward. Jamie Alexander coming back in the MCU makes me very happy. We didn't have her for like 8 years. Thor: Dark World was 2011, and then she popped up, I guess 6 years. She popped up in 2015 in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but still, far too long to go without Jamie Alexander's Lady Sif. I'm glad she's back. All right, speaking of strong, awesome, badass women, we have a Fast and the Furious spinoff coming for Cypher's own Charlize Theron. Charlize Theron plays Cypher in the Fast and the Furious films. This is awesome. I like that this universe is expanding. There's going to be 11 Fast films, Fast 10 Part 2, more appropriately. There's the Hobbs and Shaw universe, and then, well, not universe, but subsection, and now we got a Cypher subsection. So everyone that was bummed about Mad Max Furiosa being a prequel, this doesn't quite, satiate that hunger, but it is more badass Charlize Theron in cars. That's something. It is something. And I love the Fast franchise, so give me 20 of these fucking movies. Fast 11, Hobbs and Shaw 8, Cypher 24, give me them all. I'm very excited. And again, Fast 5 at the end of the month, or somewhere near the end of the month, in the teens to early 20s of the month, with a bit more spectacle. I'm very excited about it. I'm going to talk to Michael McCarcel probably next week and let him know some of the details, but I want it to be a surprise overall for everybody. So we'll keep you posted on the Fast 5 watch along. Is going to be weird. All right, and then finally, last bit of news before we wrap this up. Like I said, the heat is bananas, so I don't want my shit to overheat. I actually want to be able to wrap a show instead of it just stopping. We've got some really cool quotes about how Kate Shortland was brought onto Black Widow. Now, I did give a non-spoiler review of Black Widow last week. There's also a 1-minute TikTok of my review with some images and stuff. If you guys want a more spectacly review, please do check out... Basically, my TikTok is where I'm going to be doing what I used to do on Instagram, and my Instagram is going to become pictures like everybody else. And then my Instagram lives on Loki and whatever Marvel show is on, or DC show. I plan, by the way, when Peacemaker comes out, to do my Instagram lives for Peacemaker. Whatever the show is, I just can't double stack them. So whatever the main show is, I do love doing those IG lives. If you guys don't follow me, every single Wednesday, whatever day the show comes out, at 10 a.m., I do a full rant, comic book references, Easter eggs, theories, all sorts of stuff tying in the universe with my comic knowledge and my knowledge of the universes, whatever it's DC, Marvel, etc. So check out my IG lives. They're my weekly water cooler conversations. Some of my favorite things I do. It's on Instagram, so just subscribe to my Instagram, and every single new show that drops, I'm going to be diving into that. So I'm going to turn my TikTok into the more speedy reviews and that sort of thing there, because that's kind of what it's for. So that's what's going to be going on over there. And more curls pics over on the gram. More of this than Gaines dough. We'll actually talk curls after this last bit of news, because very important to truck them gains. All right, Black Widow. Kate Shortland had only directed very different films than Black Widow at the time of her getting the job, and she was actually courted by Black Widow herself, Scarlett Johansson. ScarJo was the one that wanted Kate Shortland to be involved. So Miss Johansson said, it was very important to me that the person that directed this film had made a masterpiece and then some other good movies, and I really think lore is really so close to, I mean, it's a perfect film. So that was what drew ScarJo into wanting to have Miss Kate Shortland involved. By the way, the directing is one of the things I love most about the film, and this is in my top third of the Marvel films. This is around that 9 spot in the 27 film pantheon of what there is in the MCU. So a lot of love for Kate Shortland's directing. I'm looking forward to checking out her other work, but she initially wasn't sure if she wanted to be involved. She actually said no a couple times, then said, quote, I got hooked on the idea of trying to tell a really personal, intimate story in and amongst so much beauty and spectacle. When I really decided that I wanted to do it was 150%, like I never want to do anything as much as this. In a way, it was strange. So she went from no to 150%. This is what's going to be happening. Insane, got to do it. So Kate Shortland ended up making quite the experience over there. And then we've also got Chloe Zhao, who's an acclaimed indie director, doing The Eternals in November. So quite the year for a big tectonic shift, both in female filmmakers and the style of filmmakers making these giant blockbuster films. Personally, I'm very excited. I think that when drama has action and action has drama, there's a lot more emotion in it from some of these female directors. I think there's a beautiful emotionality to the action in Black Widow that I can't really quantify without giving things away. Next week, it comes out this Friday, but y'all, this Friday is a brand new Marvel movie in theaters. This Friday is the first Marvel movie in theaters since Spider-Man. Spider-Man Far From Home, I saw in London 2 years ago. 2 years ago last week. It was 2 years that Marvel movie's in the theaters, which is insane. There is a new one dropping Thursday/Friday, depending on where you live. Go see it, support your theater. If you feel safe to, don't do anything you don't feel comfortable with, but if you feel safe, go see Black Widow. Big, loud, it's truly incredible, and I really love the directing. I was saying the emotionality and the action, I'm going to be talking about a lot next week. That's one of the big pulls for me. So next week we'll do a spoiler review on Tuesday. We're going to do a full spoiler review because it will have been out for 4 or 5 days. I'll make sure to warn everyone so they don't accidentally get ruined from me talking about it. But the emotionality and the action is really powerful, really special. It is a very good installment in the MCU. It's one of my favorite of the solo films, like the individual character films. It's well overdue, sure, but it's also so good to exist. Like, I know a lot of people are just going to be saying, like, should it come out 10 years ago, whatever, but it's also, I'm just glad it's here. I'm really happy to have it. I'm not going to say anything else because I'm afraid of saying anything that's going to give anything away. Go see Black Widow. Very excited. Before we get to curls and Schmodown and comics, I'm going to check on the live chat real quick because I know we got some of the Koi Pond OGs in here. We got Sahil excited for Paddington 3. Goddamn right. Taboo is good, Matty Gunner. I totally agree. Paddington Endgame, says Zeno Hour. Yes. Let's see. So before Paddington, we will, yes. Koi, glad to catch you live. Boston Girl here. Give her a better script. Kareem D. What up, Boston? I'm not sure what story I was talking about when we were talking about the scripts, but, oh, Lady Sif. I would love a better script. I assume we were talking about Lady Sif. Maybe we were talking about Charlize Theron. I agree to both. We will see what happens, but thank you. It is good to hear from anyone from Boston, and we'll get her a better script, whichever you were talking about, whichever of those fine, fine women. Put Paddington in Fast and Furious 10, you cowards. I would lose my fucking mind. They're just like driving, talking about family, and you cut over to this car, and it's this little like British Mini Cooper, like a classic Mini, like a 70s Mini, and it's like just Paddington, white knuckling it, eating marmalade, fucking pressing the nos. Yes. Please. More curls picks, Matty Gunner. We are going to be leaning into the cut on Instagram because I'm going to need the inspiration. Let's get into curls. It's the curls section of the show, where we talk about some fitness. Koi Cubed is comic book, cinema, and curls, because I think it's very funny that cinema starts with a C, but it doesn't have a C sound, because the language of English fascinates me. Comics, cinema, curls, not comics, kinema, curls, comics, cinema, curls. Anyway, get the point. The curls section is, I basically gained the most weight I've ever weighed in quarantine. A lot of that was muscle. Because I worked out pretty consistently, but plenty of that was not weight I'm happy with. I've got more of a belly than I've ever had. While I'm bigger, I'm also a little softer than I've ever been, and I personally really, really pride myself in my fitness, and I'm happier, I feel lighter, I'm a little bit more coherent, I'm all those things when I'm healthy and lean. So even as big as I get, I like to be a lean big. So I'm basically trying to do one of the biggest cuts I've ever done, but do it healthier. I'm older than I've ever been, because that's how time works. I'm also more aware of the damage to your body when you cut really supremely, and I also want to keep a lot of this mass. I don't want to get too small. So I'm currently the most overweight. I'm actually 4 pounds down. I've lost 5 pounds total, but I gained 1 on vacation, so I'm fluctuating. You're going to fluctuate 2 to 3 pounds. Don't let the scale fuck with you, but I'm, as of this moment, 4 pounds away from the heaviest I've ever weighed, which is quite a bit of weight. So I'm going to be cutting, but you guys are very inspiring, and your encouragement is very appreciated. I'm currently going to be doing 1 muscle group at a time and trying to do cardio 5 days a week. So instead of supersets of chest and back, I'm just doing 8 fucking back exercises, and I'm going hard on my back. 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps on 8 exercises from back. Next day might be chest, might be biceps, whatever it is. I'm doing 6 muscle groups of upper body, 3 muscle groups of lower body, and then trying to also run 5 days a week. So running could also be hiking, running could be Stairmaster, running could be going on the treadmill at, which I recommend by the way, treadmill at 15 incline at 3 or 3.5 speed, so it's like a hike. Any of those things I'm counting as running. So cardio 5 days a week, as well as trying to get at least 3, preferably 4 muscle group, high intensity, high to failure amount of that muscle group every single fucking week. So I'm trying to drop another 12 to 15 pounds. I'm doing it slow. My goal is by my birthday. My birthday is mid-September. So in the next 10 weeks, I'm trying to drop about 15 pounds. So it's gonna be a nice slow cut. It's gonna be really realistic if I can handle it. Diet-wise, I haven't been intermittent fasting yet. I've never been able to do that well. I want to learn how to do that, so I'm going to be doing intermittent fasting as well starting in August. So July, I'm trying to get on a good quality food schedule and a good quality sleep schedule. August, I'm trying to add scheduling my food to that. So 1 month at a time, adding, so I'm not hurting myself and I'm also not going insane. So if anyone does fitness, that is my plan. Follow along if you see fit. Also, if you guys are, doing any sort of routine, tweet at me. Join me in this craziness. Like I said, July, sleep and quality food schedule. August, food timing schedule. All the while, 5 cardio a week, 3 to 4 muscle group a week. So yes, that is a number of 2 days, and yes, it is pretty consistently working out. So good people of the Koi Pond, do join me in the insanity. It should be fun. Very excited. All right, away from curls into the Schmodown. The Schmodown, the big Schmodown collision is at the end of the month, and 3 out of the 4 matches are my quirky mercs. We've got Star Wars Championship, Teams Championship, and number 1 contender match with Kevin Smith. So we got a lot of quirky merc goodness around the corner. Also, it just dropped on Patreon, but it is going to be on YouTube any day now. The Press Room versus, I forget the name of the other team, versus Goddard and Preston. Those guys fought my Josh Harwitz and Perry Nemiroff, and that drops on YouTube very soon. And it's on Patreon right now if you're a Schmodown patron. Not a Koi patron, Schmodown patron. Be a Koi patron though. I'd appreciate it. So yeah, that is what's coming up the Schmodown. Lots of good stuff around the corner, and a big announcement for the Schmodown coming at you Wednesday from Christian. So if you guys are Schmo fans, there's something coming up on Wednesday. In addition to all the stuff that we got with the quirky mercs going on. I'm really excited. All right, that is going to be it for Schmo Business and Curls. Before I give you my comic book recommendations, I'm going to check on this chat real quick. Michael McCarcel has his tickets to Black Widow on Thursday. Hell yeah. Sahil is very excited. Can't wait to see Black Widow. Scott Welsh, man, I wish I could see Black Widow in theaters. Only half vaccine, 8-week period between shots. 8? Dude, that is hardcore. Wow, that is insane. I want to see if there's a follow-up. That's how things are in British Columbia, though. I think they may cut that soon. Dude, that is intense. Best of luck, and be safe. Be careful. Your health is so much more important than any fucking movie. Take care of yourself. Be vigilant, good sir. I got 8 weeks to cut 14 pounds. Some thoughts and prayers for me. Maddie Gunner, we're pretty close there. I'm trying to cut like 15 plus in 10 weeks. Yeah, we're in a similar mode, man. Let's get after it. You and me, we got this, Maddie. Let's see, Travis, hopefully there's a steady stream of X coming in now. Killing it, you got this. Thank you, Michael McCarcel, I appreciate it, man. Scott Welsh, that's very encouraging. Intermittent fasting is incredibly hard to start, but once you get it down, it just becomes a part of life. It's what works for me. That's what I'm really excited about, is I know the start's gonna be hard, but I do think once I've done it, like, that's life. So I am very reassured to hear you say that, Michael, because that's what I've been counting on, in fact. So it's gonna be a really rough August, but my birthday's in September, so I want to be in the habit by my birthday. That way, even if my birthday itself is a cheat day, I don't fall apart and fuck up everything right around my birthday. So I'm very excited for that as well. Yeah, and hill sprints are the devil's work, Maddie Gunner. Hill sprints are the devil's work. 15 incline, 3 or 3.5 is a nice hike, but go faster, make some fucking moves, or get your ass outside, run some hills. That is going to be it for the Q&A section. If you have any more questions, get them in now. I'm going to read you guys some comic book recommendations. I recommend from this week, I've only read a few comics from the week of the 30th. I went out of town to Yosemite for the weekend. It was amazing. I'd never been to Yosemite. I needed me some nature. I feel fucking great. It was good to take 3 days off. I turned my phone off a lot, and I was just out in 3 days. It was fucking amazing. That being said, I've read a couple comics from this last week. The ones I've loved the most are Black Widow number 8, Crossover number 7, Daredevil 31, Department of Truth 10, and United States of Captain America 1. So far, those are my favorite pulls from June 30th. What I recommend for tomorrow, July 6th, which I'll be picking up at my local comic book shop tomorrow, and these are the ones I'll be reading this week, are Amazing Spider-Man 70, Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 2, America Chavez Made in the USA 4, Avengers 46, Batman 110, Catwoman Batman number 6, Captain America number 30, Crush and Lobo number 2, Firepower 13, Geiger 4, Green Lantern 4, Hellions 13, Immortal Hulk 48, nearing the end of that run, Carmen number 5, Next Batman Second Son number 4, Nice House on the Lake number 2. This is a really cool indie horror thriller book from James Tynion. It's only an issue 2, it's a great place to jump on. Nocterra number 5, Runaways 37, Sensational Wonder Woman number 5, Skybound 1. I don't know what this book is, but I work for Skybound and I read comics, so I saw it and I was like, I gotta know what that is. Suicide Squad 5, Swamp Thing 5, X-Force 21, and X-Men number 1. A new X-Men team was just born. A brand new X-Men team is now here, and issue number 1 drops tomorrow. So it's a brand new team of X-Men. Issue number 1 drops tomorrow. I'm very excited for that book. And once again, Department of Truth, Daredevil crossover, Black Widow, and United States of Captain America, all highly recommended. I saw E. Walter in here, and she reads all them comics, so they definitely are aware of the good stuff, and I agree with them saying Department of Truth and crossover are awesome. They are, in fact, are. Scott Welsh says, looks super beautiful. I'm going to wrap up talking about Yosemite. I was in the nature for 3 days, went in a bunch of ponds, hiked about 10 miles one day, 14 miles the next. hung out for a friend's birthday. It was truly beautiful. I'm going to be posting on Instagram probably tonight. Actually, no. Tomorrow's Loki. So probably after tomorrow's Loki, going to be posting on Instagram my exploits from this little jaunt. It was incredible. But that, good lovelies, are that's going to be it. Michael McCarcel, before we leave, has something to say about intermittent fasting, and I need his advice, saying, quote, definitely have to find a good eating window. For me, 11:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. works best, mostly due to my work schedule. That is the thing I'm trying to figure out, is that's why I'm trying to get my sleep schedule this month, is so I haven't had a sleep schedule in probably 5 years, because sometimes I'm on night shoot, sometimes I'm on day shoot, sometimes I'm in another country. So I've never really had, I have like an hour and a half window that I get up, but that's not ideal for food window. So I'm really going to try to be getting up at 7, eating noon to 8, but I'm going to see how my body adjusts to that 5 hours at the top of the day without any food versus me going to bed at 10:30, 2.5 at the end of the day. I don't know where I'm going to slide that around, but it's good to know your 8 hours works for you. I'm going to have to find mine. So 11:30 to 7:30 is very similar to what I'm looking at, and that's according to your work schedule. So we're going to see what mine is. Okay, good people of the internet, that is going to do it. Always a pleasure. I appreciate you all tuning in every single week. It is always good to see your lovely digital faces via name. It's good to see Maddie Gunner, E. Walter, Scott Welsh. We got Michael McCarcel. We got Sahil. We got a lot of the OGs in here. And me and Maddie Gunner are going to lose some weight. And it's going to be rough. But in the meantime, we're going to be doing a Fast 5 thing near the end of the month. Tomorrow, I'm going to be reviewing My Hero Academia Season 3 Part 1. I'm watching the first 8 episodes of My Hero Academia, and then reviewing the first third for the great John Getz as the patron tier of Tater Tots. And then later in the month, I'm going to be doing Ted Lasso Part 1, Season 2 Part 1 for AJ Lancaster. So lots of good reviews coming up, and a brand new Coy-cast drops tomorrow. So lots and lots of goodness coming, and we will see how that goes for everybody. E. Walter, I've been eating dinner between 5 and 6, makes me sleep better. I got to try all this. That's a great idea. Eating earlier, because I've been going to bed at like midnight or 1, which is way too late, and then I get up at like 8 or 9, and I've been sleeping too much because of the, anyway, that's beside the point. I'm trying to get on a better sleep schedule, trying to get on a better food schedule. I appreciate all of you. So much love, Koi Pond. I could rant about food and timing and diets for days. It's not why we're here. So I'm going to wrap this up. We'll do some more Curls Talks week to week, and we'll also, keep up in pop culture. Next week, spoiler Black Widow. Before then, review of My Hero Academia. And in between all that, Coy-cast dropping, plus Schmodown goodness, plus find me on Twitter and Instagram. I love you guys. Like, subscribe, etc., etc. So much love. I'll see you tomorrow for Loki Episode 5, the second to last episode of Loki. Tomorrow, IGTV, 10 a.m., The Late Con with Coy-Jandreau, edited down 5 or 6 p.m. If you guys want to watch it on YouTube, The Late Con with Coy-Jandreau. I upload all of them. I edit it. We add graphics. My producers make it all pretty. That drops at 5 or 6 p.m., 10 a.m. live on Instagram. Lots of spoilers, Episode 5. Very excited for Loki tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow, Loki. Much love, guys. I'll see you soon.